one of the movie that released for UFC enthusiast, where you see real life of two UFC fighter. What's challenges they face while being a good and bad, both conditions. Let's enjoy the movie with Rowan and Josh.
The scene opens in a fight club where two men are engaged in a fierce brawl, throwing punches at each other while the crowd cheers on. Amidst the chaos, a guy named Carter Ford emerges victorious. On the other side, we see a man stepping into the fighter ring as he gets out of his car, named Dalton, ready for the next big fight with a hefty prize at stake. As he begins to undress, his nerves get the best of him, and he flees in fear, leaving the hero to claim the prize without a fight. Shortly after, he exits the club, only to have Carter Ford suddenly thrust a knife at him, but the hero calmly apprehends him, questioning his lack of fear. Terrified, Ford flees, seemingly unharmed. Then, a woman named Frankie arrives and invites him to the Roadhouse show in Florida Keys. She explains that troublemakers have been causing problems there daily, causing all the bouncers to quit, and she needs his help. Saying she needs him, she hands him a contact card before leaving. He then drives home in his car. The next scene shows Dalton on his way to Florida Keys, soaking in the beauty of the ocean along the route. He makes a stop at a bus stop called Glass Key, where a girl named Charlie, who runs a store there with her family, greets him. Charlie talks about seeing him arrive and mentions Fred, a notable tree nearby, offering him a book about Fred and the local sites. They hit it off, chatting about the Roadhouse before parting ways. There's this gorgeous beachside spot called the Roadhouse. Dalton rolls up, taking in the vibes as the night kicks off. The place is lit with music blasting and everyone having a blast. Suddenly, a gang of bikers crashes the party, causing chaos. Dalton tries to peacefully get them to leave, but they're not having it. After some struggle, he manages to escort them out, but not without a bit of a scuffle. Reluctantly, he takes them to the hospital for a checkup. While there, he meets a girl who's a doctor, and she patches him up. They hit it off, and a friendship blossoms between them. Meanwhile, people are singing praises about Dalton's skills in jiu-jitsu, kung fu, and fighting, giving those troublemakers a taste of their own medicine. Later that night, he decides to crash on an old boat by the shore, soaking in the tranquility. The next day, he swings by the same bookstore in Glass Key where he bumps into Charlie again. Suddenly, those troublemakers from before show up, recognize Dalton, and bolt out of there in a panic.
Back at the Roadhouse, Dalton shows up, shooting the breeze until the show kicks off with the evening setting in. And just like last time, some nutjob starts causing a scene, but the staff quickly sorts it out. The party goes on and Dalton's old boat becomes his crib again. He sticks to his routine, working out and spending another night by the shore. But every time he hits the hay there, he's plagued by dreams of past fights, leaving him tossing and turning. The next day rolls around and it's more of the same, with the staff handling troublemakers like it's just another day at the office. On the fourth day, Dalton finds himself at a restaurant where he bumps into the doctor girl again. They have a chat and then go their separate ways. Meanwhile, the Roadhouse is buzzing with great parties every night now and things are going well there on a daily basis.
Then one day, Dalton goes back to the same bookstore and spends some time there chatting with Charlie. After a while, he steps outside, and a guy in a car tries to intimidate him with a gun, but Dalton doesn't bat an eye and quickly breaks the guy's fingers. Later, we find out that Brant sent him. The scene shifts to Brant, who is the cunning son of a wealthy tycoon in town, the very man who built this whole city and has plans to build a massive mansion in front of the Roadhouse. This reveals that their attacks on the Roadhouse were aimed at pressuring Frankie to sell it. Meanwhile, we meet another UFC fighter named Knox. He's a real piece of work, wild and ruthless, messing with people, doing all sorts of shady stuff, and not giving a damn about anyone. He only listens to those who know what's up, and he's sent over to Brant by the Brant family. At first, Brant doesn't get what Knox is about, but Knox tells him he's been sent by his father to deal with that bouncer. Knox just keeps stirring up trouble for everyone. Meanwhile, we see Dalton by the seaside, on a date with the same doctor. Her name is Ellie. They're enjoying each other's company, having a romantic moment. But just as things start getting sweet, Dalton is taken away by the police and meets a man there. The man advises him to leave the place for his own good. Dalton, with a smile, replies, "No one's been born yet who can chase me away." He delays the man's suggestion, and this annoys the police officer, who orders his arrest. Suddenly, Ellie appears here and takes Dalton away. It turns out the police officer is actually the Ellie father. Next, Dalton and Ellie hop out of the car and as they cruise along, she spills the beans about the whole business scene. She reveals that Brant's dad used to run a drug operation, which her dad managed. But now Brant's dad's behind bars, and her dad's become their lackey. Back at the roadhouse, Dalton rolls in. The show's kicking off great, just like before, but then out of nowhere, Knox and his crew crash the party, causing chaos. Knox starts shouting Dalton's name, stirring up trouble. Dalton, cool as a cucumber, walks up to Knox and throws a punch, kicking off their brawl. It's a real slugfest, like they're in their own ring, trading blows back and forth. Meanwhile, Knox's team starts picking fights too. They go at it for what feels like forever until the cops show up, prompting Dalton to quietly slip away, ready to make a quick exit. I don't know what's going on in his head. He's not listening to anyone and just storms off. As he leaves, he spots that bookstore again, now all burnt up. He figures that jerk he met in front of the store probably did it. He walks over on foot, asking around about the store, but no one's talking. Then he throws a punch, holds the guy underwater, and when he comes up, Dalton looks like he's out for revenge. So in the next scene, Dalton messes up one of their business deals and swipes the cash. Then, Ellie's dad shows up, begging Dalton to save his daughter and offering him money. He's freaking out, saying they've snatched Ellie. Hearing this, Dalton heads straight to Brant's place, this huge ship. He's got this smirk on his face as he strides up to Brant and Ellie's dad. Dalton figures out they've lured him there to trap him. Finally, Brant spills the beans about kidnapping Ellie. Ellie's dad's flipping out, but Dalton hits a button on some device, causing an explosion on the ship. He's thinking Ellie might be on board, so he searches for her. Turns out she's trapped in a box. They barely escape the ship just as Knox shows up, chasing Dalton. Dalton ends up on Knox's boat, and they start going at it. Meanwhile, Brant snatches Ellie again, heading back on the boat. Dalton follows and saves Ellie, getting them to shore. But then Knox shows up, and they're in for a serious showdown. They're both pounding on each other, fighting in their own ways. Eventually, they both end up badly injured, but somehow Dalton manages to land the winning blow. At that moment, Ellie and her father arrive, and her father saves Dalton. Then, Dalton goes his own way, and the story comes to an end.
In that storyline, Jake Gyllenhaal brings a natural intensity to Dalton, as well as an impressive physical commitment. It's the possibility of his rage that he always keeps at bay that makes him so watchable in this role as he beats up his enemies and then makes sure they're okay before actually driving them to the hospital. From the moment he's introduced, Conor McGregor is definitely something. It's the kind of performance that's never boring and never good. Every single line is delivered in hilariously awful fashion, and yet he's one of the best parts of the film as he takes a very generically unhinged villain and makes it his own. So how is the story? Let me know in the comments.